Having a look at some of the main market charts, and then I'll go through some of the stocks of interest on the weekly and daily chart. Thanksgiving is always a bit of an interesting time. Once you come back from Thanksgiving, you see what the sales figures were like, and that for Thanksgiving it can prove for some interesting trading conditions. So Trump has pissed off China a bit by backing Hong Kong, but I don't think that's going to have that much effect on the markets. I think that was already priced in what was going to happen there, because I think it was no surprise to anyone, but we'll have to see what happens there. But the so-called trade deal optimism is more likely to do with QE than anything. It's not really. They say the deal's on again, it's off again, it's on again, but it's most likely to do with this rally we've seen and the collapse of the support here on the VIX is most likely to do with QE. That's why the VIX buyers weren't showing up, because they knew because of QE that the market was going higher, so they didn't bother. They didn't bother taking calls on the VIX, even though it was such a nice setup there. So the VXX is still powering to the downside here at the moment. I haven't heard, but I assume there's record short position on this still. Looks like it anyway. S&P 500 is a little bit. I have to watch what it does a bit, but it's tested back to that support there, rallied off a bit, but it's not a very strong test there. You would expect it to come back and test this support here at some point. Whether it does or not, you don't know, but what we can say is these are lines of support, and what happens after that, we can just, at the moment it's in a strong breakout here, so that's all we can say, and there's no bearish evidence at the moment, so there's no use looking for something that's not there, right? So Nasdaq again is also strong, so just going to wait and see what the dailies show. No sign of a reversal at the moment, so IWM small caps, that's broken out of that tight range here as well, so small caps are a pretty good indication that that's mostly QE buying there that's coming into the play of that. But have a look at the weekly and daily now on some stocks. FedEx is a good indication of how things are just tracking, and looks like FedEx is putting in a bit of a bottom support here at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see what it does, whether it recovers towards the end of the year or not. But that's quite a bellwether stock, that one. Weibo, it's putting in a bit of a base on the weekly here, just to know what that's doing at the moment yet. With the trade deal optimism is not really showing up here at the moment yet, but United Health, it's been a big strong one there on United Health. That's been a big rally after those earnings there. It's been a real good one, that. Canadian Pacific, that's been a distribution there on the weekly, and seeing what that does there at the moment. But it's an interesting one I'm following at the moment. It's a good one to trade. I had a trade on this up to the resistance here. Now it's closed. That trade's closed. Allegren, that's been an awesome one. Allegren, after earnings there, rallied on quite strongly. It's quite wide of the Keygensen now, so interesting to see what that one does. Intel, that's a small breakout of the distribution here on the weekly, so just seeing what that does. So daily's turned on the MACD, so most likely could be a false breakout there, but it's been a real good one. Triple M has been putting in a base here on the weekly there, so looking for some upside on Triple M now. Morgan Stanley, that's a breakout of a distribution there, most likely a false breakout. So looking for this to turn over now, but that's been a good one. Skyworks has been good. That's getting quite wide of the weekly now, so it's tried to turn over on the daily, but it found support on the trend here. Biogen, it's a bit of a tough one to trade, Biogen, but you can get some really good moves on that, but it's not great for trading options on that one, but I just follow that on my watch list. Qualcomm's been turning back a bit here now off this. It's a bit of a reversal on the daily here now, so just seeing what that one does. Baidu, again, Chinese. So see what that one does. That's forming a base there as well. Tesla, I don't trade Tesla. It's just interesting to see what Tesla does. It's wide of the Kijun, wide of the weekly Kijun at the moment. The daily's turned over, so it's going to be interesting to see what Tesla does after the Thanksgiving break. Disney's been powerful after the earnings. It's been on a rip with the new subscribers signing up at a record rate, or maybe not a record rate, but certainly extraordinary high rate of new subscribers anyway. Dollar Tree has been pummeled on earnings, so just see what that one does. But that can get pummeled on earnings and then bounce back quite strongly. So Regeneron Pharmaceutical, that's a good one. It's got quite a strong move off that base, off that weekly reversal there. It's had a big move on the daily after earnings there. It continued on after earnings. Costco is turning over a bit on the weekly, but that has been good, very good on the weekly and daily. That it's been a good one. Might be overdone now by the looks of it, but NC's a real good one after earnings. That ripped, and the Kijun actually turned up on that, so that's now a weekly breakout there at the moment. So it's been very strong, that momentum on NC. Martin Marietta, that's been an interesting one that tried to turn over, but on the weekly it's looking like it's trying to turn over, but the daily rallied a bit off the 100 there, so it's going to be interesting just to see what that does. Nike's a bit of a funny one sometimes, but I have it on my watch list just because it's good to follow. It can be a bit difficult to trade. Google is a good one. Very nice. Overextended from the weekly Kijun now, but the daily's overextended too. The daily's trying to turn over here at the moment, but Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble's an awesome one. It looks like it's overdone now on the weekly, just looking for it to put in a bit of a... It's in a consolidation at the moment. It hasn't showed a reversal yet, but just watching to see what that one does. JetBlue. Don't know why that was on my watch list. I can't remember now, but I might take that off actually. I don't know why that was on there still, but because of that was that was turning back. I thought that was a false breakout, which it appears to be, but I think that's why it was on my watch list. But I'm not sure about that one. Netflix is going well in spite of a lot of doubters. Netflix is still going all right after that bottom found the bottom there on the weekly. So it's had a lot of shorts against it that have been squeezed out. Apple's awesome. Apple's a really good one. It's a bit overextended now though. The daily's a bit overdone there, a bit far away from the 100 at the moment. Wells Fargo, same, bit far from the key Jensen now, but the daily's turned a bit flat there at the moment. But GE, how much more have I got? I've got quite a few to go still. Realise I had so many. GE's turning over a bit on the daily at the moment. After that weekly breakout there, pulling back a bit. GE was in a lot of trouble. I wouldn't trade GE because it was in so much difficulty. But I'm just watching it to see what it does. Best Buy, the good one. It's a little bit choppy, but it pulled back towards the 100 here. It broke out strongly after earnings. So just seeing what that does now. But that's a pretty good one. Bristol Myers after it's sort of tried to put in a reversal here, but didn't make it quite. And Nvidia's been a good one. I'll go through these pretty quick to wrap this up. It's getting a bit long now. AbbVie's a good one. Nice. Palo Alto, that's got slammed on earnings there, so seeing what that does after the Thanksgiving break. Roku is a real good one. That's one of my favourites. Teva put in a good bottom off this on the weekly here, so looks like it might pull back a bit on the daily, but then Amgen, that's been a real nice one. Amgen on the weekly and daily. Beyond, don't know what Beyond's doing. It's trying to put in a base at the moment after that big sell-off, but hard to say yet. Etsy's the same. Etsy's had a big sell-off. It's trying to find a base here at the moment of this support here. See what it does there. That's going to be interesting to see what that one does. AMD is a nice one, fully a bit overextended from the 100 MA now on the daily. McDonald's got sold off here quite sharply on the weeklies. Looks like it's forming a bit of a base here at the moment, but looks like it wants to turn back up towards the daily 100 MA now. So see what that does. Visa, Starbucks, good one. Starbucks sold off quite a bit. Looks to be forming a base on the weekly now after overshooting to the downside a bit. Square's been a pretty good one. Bit of a funny one, Square, but hard to follow Square. But BAC's been a good one. Bank of America. Lulu, I really like Lulu. They've got a lot of good things going for them, Lulu. Very good brand. Deere's been slammed on earnings here. Just seeing what that does after it's don't know what it's going to do there, but and Weber to finish off. Weber's put in what seems to be a nice bottom here off the weekly, but it's only counter trend on the weekly still, but seeing what that does at the moment. But anyway, that'll do for now. That's nearly 15 minutes, so just going through some. If you wanted to know what I'm looking at the moment, that's a brief watch list. That's not my whole watch list. That's just a brief charts of interest that I've picked out of my watch list of it's well over 300 stocks on my watch list. So that's just a few basic examples. All right, bye for now.